Ernie, looking at the February overall index for the San Joaquin Valley, how did it look?
Our number from businesses in the four-county area that we produce each month here at the Craig School of Business at Fresno State, that number was up above growth neutral. Now, it's still a bit softer than I'd like to see. It's a lot softer than what most businesses would like to see out there, but it's still moving ahead, still pointing to positive, slow but positive growth in the weeks and months ahead. Probably going to see growth in the first half of 2014, much like what we saw at the first half of 2013, and that was positive but slow. So it was a pretty good report. Like to see better numbers. And of course, we asked this month about the impact of the weather, and that was significant. About 1/3 of the businesses reported negative impacts of the drought on their sales, and that's bringing down or slowing overall growth in the San Joaquin Valley, and of course, for that matter, it's having some impacts on the U.S. economy, not the drought, but the weather, and then of course the California economy as well.
What about employment for the region? How did that look?
The employment was up for the month, looking pretty strong. We're seeing construction firms adding jobs, and that's spilling over into the businesses that we're surveying. We're seeing food processing moving along. On the other side, manufacturing, while it's growing employment, growing output, not employment, growing output, they're doing that with increases in hours worked and also with increases in productivity. So not seeing as many jobs gained in manufacturing. Business services seeing jobs added there as well. One of the important factors coming forth from over the past few months is companies are a little uncertain. So what a lot of businesses are doing is hiring temporary employees from employment service firms. So that's a trend we've seen over the past few months. We're likely to see it continue well into 2014.
What about wholesale prices for the region?
Wholesale prices up. The gauge is at its highest level, the inflation gauge, up to its highest level in 3 years. And that's much like the national number that came out today as well, showing that inflationary pressures, while they remain modest at the wholesale level, modest inflationary pressures, they are increasing. So what this means for the consumer, for the business out there, is that the Federal Reserve is going to continue to remove their stimulus, about $10 billion a month. They're pulling away from their stimulus program called QE3. And what that means additionally is we're going to see higher long-term interest rates. Short-term interest rates are going to remain low. Long-term interest rates are going to move higher. Now, we may see some fits and starts with that depending on what goes on in the Ukraine or what goes on in Venezuela. Those are telegraphed back to the regional economy and to the U.S. economy, and that affects long-term interest rates as well. But over the long term, over the trend that we're looking at, we're going to see higher long-term interest rates, and that's going to have some dampening impact on the housing sector, but the housing sector is going to move forward even with these higher long-term interest rates.
What about confidence for the region? What's that look like?
Not good. Cindy, the confidence number was down for the month, below growth neutral. Again, the number spans between 0 and 100. Anything above 50 is growth positive. This was 48, so below growth neutral, indicating that businesses in the four-county area in Fresno are not confident about the economic future. That's looking out 6 months. Not confident about it. And of course, little wonder with the weather that's being affecting their businesses. And we had the Farm Bill. Of course, farming and agriculture, very important for this part of the country. We had the Farm Bill passed, of course, in February, signed by the President. That's not going to, 10% of the businesses reported positive impacts. 15% reported negative, expected negative impacts from the Farm Bill. The vast majority, 75% of the businesses, anticipate little or no impacts from the Farm Bill as it's implemented. And of course, it's just not going to, it's going to be a non-event for businesses in the area, at least according to our surveys. I think, again, the jobs impact was the most important factor coming out of the survey. Weather-related issues, we'll have to wait and see how that manifests itself in our reports and, of course, in the overall economy, which is most important. But we at Fresno State here at the Craig School of Business, I expect the numbers to improve a bit in the months ahead, but it is a slow improvement for the San Joaquin Valley economy, and that's going to continue. And we're going to see the national number. That's been about on the same level. The national number versus San Joaquin Valley, the surveys are showing about the same thing, slow but positive growth in the weeks and months ahead.